Bwana asifiwe. Say hi to your neighbor. Bwana asifiwe. Say hi to the other neighbor on the other side. Can I calm down, Amma, because of I feel so far. I thank God. So we bless the Lord for this moment that He has given us. My name is Isaac Kingori MWANGI, and I thank God for saving me and for loving me, and for giving me this opportunity to share with you. I'm so humbled. It has been a while I shared with the young people, and I remembered I have actually just told myself, time flies, because I thought I was young. I'm no longer young anymore. And I thank God for this far that God has taken us. So I fellowship in this ministry, and I thank God for this far that He has brought us. So today when I was told to share, I was wondering, what do I talk about? Until today morning when I was praying to God, and God talked to me about a few things that I want us to share together. As I talk to you, I'll also be talking to myself, because life you share and you also grow from what God teaches you and also makes you learn. So in regards to career building, one thing I've noted is that we all want to be successful in life. No one wants to be a failure. As our sister puts it, that kuomoka. Kila mtu anataka kuomo. And I'm not talking to you because mimi nimeomoka hapana. I'm still also struggling as hard as I can, and also trusting God to grow and also to develop. So we are not here because we are superstars or anything, but we are here because God has given us an opportunity to share what He has kept in store for us, for your future and for our growth. And I just want to show you something, to just tell you something that I was actually thinking before I start. I did a diploma before I did a degree. And one of the things I have seen, the people we did a diploma with those days, and the people we did degrees with, when I look back or when I look at their achievements today, there are two things I see. Most of the people I did a diploma with, most of them were born again, and they knew God. Because that time we had a very tight fellowship that people who knew and loved God. And I usually look at how we used to pray those days. We used to go pray and fast. We used to trust in God. And because most people never came from very privileged families those days, they kept trusting in the Lord to succeed. When I look back now, I realize there's a big difference between those people and the others I met in campus. Because the others I met in campus, they came from a bit well-off families, because we were in a parallel degree program then. And not many trusted in the Lord. And when I look at their achievements today, they are so different. So sometimes you may be sitting there and you're wondering, hii maneno ya wokovu na hii maneno ya kujua Mungu, where can it take me? And in the path of life, you may meet people who tell you, this cannot work, this does not work. I am telling you of a testimony of maybe 15 years or more. I have seen people who today, they never had something to eat. Today they own flats. They never had a name. Today they have a name. And that is the God we serve. So as we talk about career building, you need to understand what is our center. Our center is God. And I don't want you to forget that. Our center is God. In everything we do, our center is, no matter how much money you get, your center should be. No matter how educated you become, your center should be. No matter how exalted you become in life, your center should be what? God. The moment you put God as your center, everything works. Everything falls into place. You understand? And that's why I want us to share together on this topic of career building. And I know God is going to speak to us. And one of the things I was remembering again today in the morning, that the sun does not rise for itself. When you see the sun coming out every morning, it does not come out every morning for itself. The sun will shine not for you, for itself. It shines for us. It shines for the plants. It shines for the animals. If there was no sun, the world cannot be livable, if there is such kind of a word. There could not be inhabitants in the earth if there was no sun. So any moment the sun comes up in the morning, it comes out for you and me. So that's how selfless the sun is. The moon, on the other hand, does not shine for itself. It shines for us. It is us who benefit from the moon. It is us who benefit from the sun. And the other thing I want to tell you is that all these things are done for the glory of God. Because God created the heaven and the earth. He created the stars. He created the moon. He created the sun. Why? So that they can glorify him. So that when we look at the sun, we marvel and say, what a great God we have. We look at the moon and the stars, we wonder and say, what a great and a mighty God we have. Because he created these things for his glory, not for their own glory. The other thing that you also realize, the flowers that you see, they do not flourish for themselves. They don't even know the beauty. You can imagine the flower does not even know the beauty it has. It is us who knows the beauty of the flowers. Or do you think the flower understands the beauty it has? So hawezi kutana na flower ikiringalinga, you know? You never meet a flower being a proud flower. Ati flower iko na malingo. Why? Because it doesn't even know. It does it for itself. It doesn't for us, not for itself. Then I want us to read the book of Ecclesiastes 9:11. And this is what I was talking about earlier, that I have met people in life who had a lot of knowledge, who had a lot of wisdom, who had a lot of connections, who had a lot of intelligence, a lot of favor, but so many things have not done right for them. So if you read Ecclesiastes 9:11, the Bible says, I don't know if you can take us there. Ecclesiastes 9:11, the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, riches to the intelligent, nor favor to them to those with knowledge, but time and chance happen to them all. And if you look at this verse of Ecclesiastes 9:11, the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to the intelligent, nor favor with those of knowledge, but time and chance happen to them all. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about the race of life. So times you see life does not favor those who are so fast. So times you can be the fastest, you can be the most intelligent. In a class, there's a guy, there are some few guys we used to school with in high school, in actually primary school. Today I look at them and I wonder what happened. Have you met those kind of people? They used to be on top of the class every time. And when you meet them today, you wonder what ever happened. Something went wrong somewhere. Another guy used to be so intelligent. But when you meet him today, you wonder what happened. And this is life. This is the race of life. It is not to the swift. It is not the battle to the strong. You may be the strongest, but you never win any battle. You may have the muscles of this world. You may have the connections that you need. You may have all the things you require, but you may never win any single battle. You may never win any single battle. Not because you are the strongest, not because you are the wisest. Again, the wise, nor the bread to the wise. You see, people, you say that the wise people will get wealthy and all that stuff. No, you may not even have food and you are very wise. That is how life is. So don't look down on people and you find this guy is not doing well because he's not wise. You may be very wise. You're not wise because you don't have because you're wise. No. That is how life is. And then riches to the intelligent. You may be very intelligent, but you may not have so much. That's how life is. But one thing we all have is time and chance. Time and chance. And this is one thing I've known. How do you use your time? How do you use your chances? That is where the answer is. How do you use your life, your time? And how do you use your chances? So we all have time. We may be born at the same time, the same family. As years have gone by, I've also noted, we are born like 10 of us in our family. Your family may be 5 of you, 3 of you, 10 of you, but not all of you are the same. Not all of you are gifted the same. Not all of you are blessed the same. But you all have time and you all have chances. And one of the things I've discovered about time and chances will open up in your life. How do you take them? When opportunities come to you, how do you maximize them? And one of the things I've noticed that causes failure is what you call indecisiveness. A good opportunity comes to you, but because you feel either so sweet or very scared or not courageous enough, you don't take the step of faith. So because of lack of your faith, you don't take any chance or any step. I have noted this. And one of the things I thank God for my wife is that anytime we wanted to do something, we always agreed. Because we always looked for opportunities. I see an opportunity, we decide this is an opportunity. We evaluate it, we think, is it a good one? Yes. Can we go for it? Yes. So the moment you agree it is a good opportunity and you can go for it, the next thing you need is faith. When God gives you an opportunity, you don't need resources to do it. And that's where we go wrong. Because the moment opportunities open up, chances open up, the first thing you think about, who do I know? How much do I have? Those questions most of the times don't work for us. Because we are limited. You know, God created man in a man who is limited. There is no one who is limitless. That we are limitless. We are all limited. And why are we limited? God created us limited so that we can trust in him. So God never created you a self-sufficient guy. That whatever, if you need a billion shillings, it is there for your asking. If you need 100 shillings, it is there for your asking. God will make you trust for him for 100 shillings. Then you move from 100 shillings, you trust him for 1,000 shillings. 1,000 shillings to 10,000 shillings. 10,000 shillings to 100,000 shillings. To 1,000,000 shillings, to 10 million, to 100 million. Because that is God who wants you to trust in him. But the moment you get opportunities and then you're asking yourself, how much money do I have? Look at where I come from. I can't make it. So these opportunities happens to other people and not to us. So you disqualify yourself before you are qualified. You disqualify yourself first. So how many people will get a very good opportunity for a job opportunity? And when it comes, they think of, who do I know in that company? You get a very good guy to marry you, and you're there thinking, what can go wrong? Instead of trusting God that it can work, you're asking yourself, what can go wrong first? So you start from what we call a point of doubt first. So this marriage cannot work. Unajua unasikianga watu wanapigananga, sijui watu wanakaanga hivi, wanakuanga hivi. You have a theoretical angle of everything. So your faith is so narrow and your faith is so little, you don't trust God in anything. So that time will come. Then you'll find yourself at my age. You have not been married yet. You don't have a job. You have no money. Then you ask yourself, where did I go wrong? Then you realize, I squandered a chance I got. There was this guy, he was not doing well. He looked horrible that time. Look at him now. Then you keep asking him, unakuanga wapi siku hizi? Have you ever had those people who ask you, unakuanga wapi siku hizi? Because they are trying to catch up to see if they can light up something that died long time ago. They lost a chance. You meet another guy who come, you tell him, you see, I've seen this in employment. You get a job offer. Then you look at it, you think, you see, this job is not good. They are telling me they will pay me 10K or 15K. And when they pay me 10K or 15K, I don't know how I'll get to 30,000. But you see, one thing you have forgotten, you have nothing to lose. Even now you are earning nothing. But you are asking yourself how you'll get the 15,000 and survive with the 15,000. And you are questioning yourself, how do I get the 15,000 only? Ati mtu anawezaje ishi na 15K? Then you're asking your friends, how do you survive with? But at the moment, you have no income. If you are a wise man or a wise lady, what would you do? You will take that 15 first. Then when you are inside the 15, you know what happens? Opportunities happen around there. And God opens doors. And you find yourself earning 30. Then you are again, when you are on your 30, you earn yourself again earning 60. Again another 80. If not that, you get a business idea, you start a business. But the moment you start interrogating things before you start even doing them, that's where we go wrong. You start analyzing people. Huyu anakaanga hivi, he's a good guy, but anakaa hivi. I'm not teaching you on relationships. Anakaa hivi. Kiatu yake haikuangi imepanguzwa. That is not an issue. You can do it when you get married. Hanaga pesa. We have been all there. Then you find a very good opportunity for business. I have seen this also. You want to do business. And God gives you a very good opportunity. But the first thing you do is to ask yourself, ni nani wanakulanga chapati siku hizi? Hata nikifungua ika hoteli, ni akina nani wanakulanga? Those are the questions you ask. You ask from the negative first. Who buys? Mi sioni kama watu wananunuanga. The moment you start, you will never go far. So time and chance happen to all of us. You get time, you get chances, but you squander them. God opens an opportunity for you to buy a property. I've seen this many times. Or to buy something. Then you are there asking yourself, you have the money, but you are asking yourself, sasa nikitoa hii 10 bob, itabaki bila pesa. That's what is bothering you, because you don't want to trust God for more. Yeah? So you squander your time and chances. And then the other thing, when I'm still on time, when you are young, like now most of us are between maybe 18 years, 25 years, 26 years, you think you have all the time. Can I tell you now, when I'm studying here, I was just there a few years ago. Now I feel so old. I was just where you are a few years, but you are thinking you are very young. And Josiah became a king at the age of 8, and you are 26, and you are calling yourself young. Yeah, time. You waste time. You understand? Then the other thing is, I wanted to take you through something we call the stages of life. You can go to the next page. The stages of life. Before I come to career, the stages of life, you'll realize that we all go through this. So when you're below 0 to 18 years, most of us are dreamers. We dream big, which is a good thing. We should dream. We should actually be thinking of our future in a big way. Then we look for mentors who are not even there. Those days, you don't look for mentors you can even see. You look for mentors abroad. Those days when you are below 0 to 18, you don't even look for mentors around here. Because you don't want to be, your standard is very high, which is okay. Yeah? Yeah? And you look for role models that you cannot even talk to. They are nowhere to be found. They are so far. Yeah? I realized there's a vehicle called Bugatti through my nieces and my nephews. They will tell me, and of course you buy a Bugatti. Then when I realized that Bugatti, I never knew a Bugatti is so expensive. Yeah? Until I checked. And I realized it is out of this world. It is out of my scope. You understand? Because they are dreamers. They come telling you big things. So big things. They will tell you, we want to achieve this in future. I want to be a doctor. And this guy, ajui hata kama atakuwa anashika kitu, na anakuwa doctor. I want to be an engineer. Yeah? My son tells me I want to be a fundi like my daddy. He doesn't know even what a fundi is. Yeah? Then when between 18 to 36 years, they are explorers. And that's where most of us are. You want to experiment, you want to explore. So you take a lot of risks, which is a good thing. But those risks must be limited. Then you want to fully exhaust your potential. But the only thing that you have a challenge with sometimes is your knowledge levels are also low. You have a lot of energy. You want to exploit a lot of opportunities. But what you lack is one thing called wisdom and understanding. So, again, when you are exploring, you want to do all the businesses. Unaangalia watu wanafanya kazi ya bogo, unasema hii biashara dogo kama hii siwezi fanya. Unapata mwingine anauza viatu, unasema biashara ya kiatu mimi siwezi uza. So because you are thinking of big things and you are experimenting so many things. So when you start doing business, you want to start a mkahawa side hii, unafanya side hustle pande hii, they call them, then you do another one side hii, because you want to be explored. You have not settled to understand what can I do, what can I not do. Yeah? I remember when I was 26, that's when I started doing business. And I was telling myself, I'm only going to do business I'm only going to be employed for 2 years. After 2 years, I'll be my own boss, I will succeed in life, and I will never see any master around me. I'll be my master, and nothing will stop me from achieving my dreams. Then wait until the business I started then, I was doing flour milling, it fell off, or it came down, it crumbled. When it came down, I humbled myself. I started seeing my bosses in a good way. I realized I need them. By then I was working for NIC Bank. I realized now I need my bosses because my business is coming down at a high rate. And here I was saying, in 2 years' time, I'll be self-employed. And one thing I thank God for, despite all that, I learned a lot of mistakes. I learned mistakes I cannot do again in in business. But I was exploring. So you may explore today, which you are allowed to do. But take care of your limits. What are your limits? What are your do's and don'ts? Then when you get to the age 36 to 54, most these people are builders. Ni watu serious. Wanatuitaga baba, which is okay. Na mama, it's okay. We appreciate, we are there. And we thank God for that. But let me tell you, you're also coming. Soon you'll be Mbaba. Very soon you'll be Mbaba. And let me tell you something. You may look down upon people, these people, but they have a lot of understanding. Today I have a lot of understanding on the failures of business. I have understanding of a few things of failures in relationships. I have a few understanding of failures in money and all that stuff. So don't just look down upon me because I'm Mbaba. Baba anatakanga aje. You know, it's the only age that is making us look a bit off. But we have a lot of understanding. Then, these people are very strategic. They know, they look and see things very far. You look at Pastor Kamau now, anaona mbali. Na ameketi. Lakini wewe unasimama na huoni mbali. You're thinking that you know everything. He knows more. He's more strategic. Then, they are implementers. When you give them a project to do, they will do it. Atakuwa nakuuliza leo tunafanya nini? You know where unataka hang around. You don't want to do anything. You want to be all over. You are given a task, you don't want to achieve anything because you are not settled yet. But these guys are settled. And no wonder why you'll find that they are the people who are managing you when you are still young, because they know how to deliver. Then they perform, I'll bet their energies. Their energies are low, but they perform better. Yeah? But they will use you to perform. Let me use that word. They will actually use you to perform. They will be telling you, wewe chukua hii, enda hii, fanya hii, wewe unakasirika lakini nakwambia lazima ufa. Because you have the energy. He doesn't have the energy. So he'll use you to perform. And that is life. Then, let me talk about something there. When I was, I think, around 26, 29, 28 there, there's one of my bosses who also became a former CEO of NBK. He's called Musao, Wilson Musao. So Wilfred Musao. So Musao told me one thing I will never forget. He told me, Kengori, there comes, because I was doing so much. I was feeling I was doing so much for the bank. That is NIC those days. Then he told me, Kengori, let me tell you something. I know you feel that you are doing so much for us, which is true. But there comes a time when you have to get used by people. And why do you get used? You are getting used so that you can learn. I don't know if you understand. Unatumika so that you learn. So there comes a time, and that gave me a lot of comfort. He told me, don't worry. Your time will come for payback. Your time will come for payback. Learn. Sit down. Learn. Work hard. Let us use you a little bit. Let us pay you less money and you do more. So unafanya kazi kama watu 10 na unalipwa mshahara kidogo. Na wale watu wanafanya kazi kidogo wanalipwa sana. Then you ask yourself, why is it happening? But you are being used. And you're not being used kwa ubaya. You're being used so that you can learn. I don't know if you understand. And true to his word, it happened that a few months after, when God now started paying me back, my salary was increased once, another time, 4 times within 6 months. Then I realized my salary now has become stable. I stopped now complaining. But I learned one thing. You have to get used. Today you may be employed somewhere and you are being used, as you want to say. Ati mimi natumikanga tu. Wakitaka mtu wa kutuma ni mimi wanatumanga. Hawa wengine hakuna kitu wanafanyanga na venye wanalipwa. Kwanza huyo mbaba na venye alipwa pesa mingi. Na hakuna kitu wanafanya. I am being the one. But you know what? Your time will come. God will give you ideas, and when you are still employed there, you'll get a business idea and start a business that will pay you back. I don't know if you understand. So it's about life and how things happen. So the other thing is that these people, the other guys called mentors, between 54 and 72. They pass their wealth and knowledge to others, and succession starts here. And this is one secret I've learned that last year and this year. Most of my friends are between here, actually 54 and 72, by default. When I was younger, they were between 36 and 54. And they still have, so most of my friends have actually gone up. And one of the things I discovered, and I want you to pick this from me today, if there is anything you need to understand in life, is the law of succession. The law of succession. The law of succession means if the people who are before you, what do they know? What do they own? I don't know if you understand. What do they have? What do they know? And what do they have? Then what can they pass to you? Because the world works with the law of succession. Inheritance, in other words. And I want to tell you for truth, by all humility, you actually get a lot from the community, from people around here, and from people out there, not necessarily your family members. You can inherit from your community. You can inherit from your neighbors. You can inherit from your people in wherever, because there is a law that works on succession. For you to get something from these people, what do you need to do? You need to humble yourself. You need to sit down and learn. So that when you grow old, you'll also learn. They will also tell you the tricks of, or how they made it or how they do it. So there's a certain law that works or operates, either in the spiritual world or the physical world. If you want to become a pastor or a bishop or an evangelist or anyone, look for the master or the key apostles or the key evangelists or the key bishops in the country. Follow them up. Look for them. Let them mentor you. Eventually you realize that you have connected with them. And when you connect with them, you inherit what they have. So you may actually inherit what their children will not inherit. I don't know if you understand. Because you are a wise person. So if you want to be a businessman, look for guys who are ahead of you. Sit with them. Learn from them. You will inherit something from them that even their own children will not inherit. I don't know if you understand. It is the law of the people who wants to be politicians. Look for those politicians. Walk with them. Learn from them. Sit with them. You will tap something. It's called tapping. You will tap something that you will inherit to yourself that you cannot inherit from another person. So what do you want to be? Look for these people. They have a lot of knowledge and wealth to pass. I remember when I bought my first piece of land, an old mzee called Mr. Maina. He called me. He's from Gatukoyo, not Gatukoyo, MWANGI. He came to me and told me, Kingori, unajua nataka kukusaidia. Na sijui nitakusaidia aje. Niko na kaplot, niko nako hapo Agoigwa. I want you to buy. Now I'll give you at half price. Go look for money. By that time I didn't have money. And he told me, go look for. He was the age of my father. I'm talking about the law of succession. So he sold me a piece of land for half price. Within 6 months' time, I sold that piece of land for double. I bought where we stay today. So if you ask me how I inherited where we stay, I inherited from Mr. Maina, not from my own father. I don't know if you understand. It is just the law of succession. You sit with the people ahead of you. You learn from them. You humble yourself to them. Then they see, I need to do something for this guy. Jenga Karome, when he died, he gave his wealth to the driver. And who else? Is it the cook? There are people who are taking care of him. Why did they inherit him? And their kids were not. In fact, the wealth of these guys did not pass through the trustees. They were given maybe direct. But the kids have to go through the trustees because they did not understand the law of succession. Today, my father is 86 years old. I have walked with him. And I've learned a lot of things from him. And one of the things I do, I always try to get as much as I can from him. So that by the time he'll ever go, when that time comes when God takes him away, I'll have maybe gotten so much from him, I will never regret that I never inherited anything from my father. But you are there, your father is in Kirigoris. The last time you talked to him was 10 months ago. The last time you went and sat with him, you say that anakubo. He has nothing to say. Instead of sitting down with them and learning from them, because they have a lot of knowledge. The 72 and the 90 people are givers. They will give you anything. I will tell you for a fact. As we speak now, my father has no property that is addressed to his name. He has actually transferred all his properties to us because he doesn't need them. He's 86. And I realize how the vanity of life, you don't need all these things. You have to pass them over. So when you get to 90, 72 and 90, you realize now, you don't need all these things. You need to pass them over. But the question is, who do you pass them over to? And our young people, our young girls and men are not interested. They have no understanding. They are arrogant. They have no humility. Who do you pass them to? You understand? So this is one thing you need to learn, the stages of life. And we will all pass through there. I was looking at people saying, oh no, ati kuna watu wazee hawapazi kurithi serikali. If I was them, the politicians, because I have no desire to be a politician, but if I was a politician, I would sit with those wazees more. One thing I thank God for Sakaja, the current governor of Nairobi, he said that where Mudavadi goes is where he goes. Whatever Mudavadi does is what he'll do. He's a wise man because he wants to inherit Mudavadi. Mudavadi doesn't know that he's being inherited by Sakaja. He said those, and I picked those words because I'm very keen on what people say, especially when it comes to succession. Then there's this pastor called Pastor T. I don't know if you watched Pastor T. He said he wants to honor the fathers of the land. I don't know if you ever watched that series where he's honoring the fathers of the land. So he'll call all the bishops that were there before. They come, he sits with them, they anoint him, they pray for him. He gives them a chance for people to talk up, to know about them and all that stuff. What he's doing honor. And at the end of the day, that guy will inherit the spiritual mantle of this country one day. He will inherit it because he has understood the key. I don't know if you understand. So even if I don't talk much, even if I stop here, this law of succession, it has to go through your head, not out, but stay. It has to stay. Because the moment you understand the law of succession, things will start flowing in your life. Like this. I want to give you another example. When I was, I think I was in Credit Bank. There's a lady who used to report to me. They used to be at loggerheads with the father. They never used to see eye to eye. Then she told me how the father is hard. Ati baba yangu ni mungumu. Which father is not hard? So the baba ni mungumu sijui. Then I called her and told her, tell me again, what is the issue? Then she told me, this is the issue, this is the issue. I told her, you know what? You have to soften and humble yourself and go and look for your father. Then the first thing she bought a gate for the home. She started working for making the father happy, Her salary started going up. By God's grace. She was earning, those days, when I saw her, when I started working with her, she was earning, I think, 60K. Now, she's earning almost 500 or more. Not 500 shillings, but 500,000. And that unlocking came not any other time. It came when she started working together with the father. By the time the father was dying, he died empty. He had inherited everything from the father. She had inherited everything from the. So can you be wise? Inherit knowledge, inherit wisdom, inherit whatever you can inherit. Si ati unagoja baba anakufa, then unaanza kutoa vujo. Mimi sijapata kitu. Na hukuwa, you are not even there. You are unwise. So this is one thing that you need to learn. The law of succession. How does it work? Inheritance. So when I came to this town in 2009. I was not a businessman. I was a banker. But I have always followed the businessmen in this town. I know the old businessmen in this town. I have followed them. I have honored them. I have always respected them. I know why. Because I wanted to inherit the power they have. They have the keys of this city. They have. So you have to follow them. You have to learn from them. Mdakaa na wao anakupea story. Useme ati wao anakupotezea wakati. You know, when I used to be a banker, I used to go and they would tell me stories the whole 1 hour. And you have to be patient enough to wait and learn from them and listen from them. Because the moment unajifanya mjuaji ati let's focus. You can't get anything. You have to be patient. You have to learn from these people. And the moment you learn from them, you keep learning. Then Last year, I learned about succession. And I told myself, you know what these people, because most of my age mates, not my age mates, most of my friends are 54, 55, 60, they are getting tired. I realize they are getting tired. And how do they get tired? They have made money, yes, and they are no longer willing to make so much money. They have realized money is not important. So what do? When they see an opportunity that requires a lot of energy, that requires a lot of time, what do? They look for someone anahangaika huko chini. So anaangalia naona Kingori ako na shida, acha tu Kingori uko wapi kuja. So you run. Anakwambia there is this project, go and see if you can do. Why? Because he is tired. I don't know if you understand. So are you telling me that you are not inheriting? I'm inheriting. That is what you need to understand. In employment, you'll go and get people who are 50 years old. They are retiring. Unamuona, unasema kazi yake ni kulala tu. When he's in the office, he's just sleeping. And you're happy to tell your friends, unajua huyo mzee analalanga tu, hakuna kitu anafanyanga. Anakujanga anaweka koti anaenda. Little do you know that this guy is going. And by the time he is going, he has a lot of knowledge in him. He has a lot of understanding in him. So what do you need to do? You need to sit with this man. However boring he is, however much stories he will tell you about the past. You sit down, you learn. And when you sit down, you tap something from him. By the time you are leaving that office, he will be leaving that office. High chances are you'll be the person to take over. You understand? So I have dwelt so much there. That was not my intention. Then I want us to go to the other page, the life on the edge. Sorry, that was supposed to be life on the edge, not off the edge. Life on the edge. When I was 22, I read this book by James Dobson. I usually look for it. Today I've never seen it. I read it once. It's called The Critical Decade or Life on the Edge. And this book transformed my life a little bit. Because I realized when your life on the edge is like you are standing here. Yeah? When you are standing here, most of us are here now. We are young people. So tunachezea hapa sasa tunachezea. You know, we are happy. Everything is happy. Hakunanga pressure. We have a lot of time. So you are joking around on the edge. Little do you know that you can easily fall. But little do you also know that you can also come back to the other side. So our lives are like this. You can either go down or you come up. It's actually, that's why we are saying life on the edge. So young people think they have all the time. Sasa nikimwangalia nyinyi hata mnaona sasa Kingori ni mzee. That's why ameitwa kutuongelesha. You have all the time. Ukijiangalia unaona mimi niko na miaka kabla nifikie Kingori, niko na miaka kama 10 na kitu. And you are so happy. Unajiangalia hivi unaona niko sawa. I'm okay. I have time. If I tell you to work hard, you are thinking, for what? Si nitafanya next year. Si nitafanya next year but one. You think you have all the time. Somebody comes to marry you, unasema, mimi siolewi, naolewa saa ngapi? Nani atakuwa napikia mtu saa hii? And by that time, you are 26, 27, almost turning 30. Yeah? Thinking now that you can get married at 35, which is okay. We have no problem. But what if at 35, you'll have no one to ask you? And you lost a chance at 26. Yeah? Because you think you have all the time. They are time wasters. You are just a time waster. Yeah? Unatoka hapa, you are employed today, and instead of concentrating on what you want to do, kazi yako ni kutoka kwa hii desk, unaenda kwa desk ingine. Unatoka kwa hii desk, unaenda kwa desk ingine. Ukiongea na watu, umeonaje hiyo campaign? Umeonaje hiyo sijui nini? Umeonaje nini? You waste a lot of time. Let me tell you something that I learned about this. I don't know if we'll have enough time to complete. What time do I have? How much time do I have? I am worried. I have a lot ahead. Sorry? 20 to 30 minutes. Oh my. Unless I stop somewhere. Don't worry. So because I think it's important. So there's something I learned about time wasting. So when my last assignment, I was at HFC. So I was in charge of corporate and what you call commercial banking and SME. And I still had my companies that were running. So I sat down and I asked myself, why do people not succeed, I realized they waste a lot of time. Because I used to wake up, those days I still stayed in Thika. I wake up at 4, go to Nairobi. When I go to Nairobi, I get there, my baby, by 5. Let's say by 5:30. I go to the gym for 30 minutes, 1 hour. By 7, I go to church, pray for 1 hour. Then I go to work. And before I go to work, I realize I arrange all my businesses here that are running. Then later in the evening, instead of going to take tea, I sit down and look at how my businesses are running. I realized people waste a lot of time. Between 7 to 8 is 1 hour. Between 5 to 7 are 2 hours, is it? 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 2 hours. So if you save 3 hours a day, either to study or to improve yourself or to even pray, you are better off than someone who is just wasting time. There are other people, sijui wanashikangwa na pepo gani, mchana hawafanyangi kazi. They wait until evening. So mchana anakaa kizurura na kunywa chai from one desk to the other, from one forever to the other. Jioni anasema sasa ni kufanya kazi. Anatoa koti. Anaanza kufanya kazi now from 5 to 8. So that person is wasting his own livelihood. Because instead of doing other things at 5 and 6 and 7, you are busy now working what you are supposed to do at. One of my mentors called Chegethombe, he's the current CEO of Sidian Bank. He taught me that you work from 8 to 1. 1 ikifika unaenda lunch. And he used to go to lunch at home. He comes back, and even now he does that. Works from 2 to 5. Hapitishangi hapo. Why? Because he has a life to beyond what he does. So the moment you waste your time around employment or during work days, working hours, unapoteza wakati, then jioni ndio unataka kukatch up. Ama weekend. Unajua kuna watu wengine wanakuanga na shida ya kukaa nyumbani. Ni lazima aende kazini. Weekend anaenda kazini hata Sunday. That guy is wasting time. Instead of doing what you're supposed to do, you do it at the wrong time. Time wasters. Then, these guys are also experimenters. They explore a lot. It matters to do with sex. The numbers matter. They call them body counts. How many body counts do you have? They don't say, but there are many. How many people do you know? Because you want to experiment. You want to experiment. But little do you know, these things will come to haunt you later. They will come to haunt you later. So sleep with as many people as you want. The moment you get to our age, then you realize, na hapa nilikosea. Unajiita kama mkutano, hapa sikuwa mjanja, hapa nilikuwa mjinga. Unaona vile nilikuwa nafanya. Then you realize that you never settled because you wasted yourself. You never got any finances because you used all of them on drugs and alcohol and women. You understand? Because you are exploring a lot at this time. Then, when you start a business, you want to do all the businesses in this world. Businesses in paper. Kuna hiki project niko nayo. What I have seen, most young people will come with so many projects. There is this project and they will tell you that it is going to cost $2 million. $2 million is about 220 million shillings. And he's telling you that he has connections due where and where. So he has so many things in his mind that are not easy to actualize. You are here, you have a partnership with these friends. Then you think it will work. You waste a whole year on it. Then you start another one. So you waste time. Then these people lack understanding and they lack wisdom. If you read Proverbs 4:7, if there's one verse of the Bible, I read it to myself every time. I tell myself every time, Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is the principal thing. In all that you're getting, get understanding. You need to understand how things work. You need to understand who employers look for. You need to understand what are you supposed to do in employment. Si mtu anakuuliza, what are you supposed to do today? You have no clue. Na unalipwa. Si utafutwa. Then James 1:5, whoever lacks wisdom, let him ask from God, who gives freely. If there's anything I want us to pursue is wisdom. Let us pursue wisdom. Then, they have no regard or low regard of builders and mentors and givers. As I said earlier, they have no regard. And I don't want to repeat that. Then they have what we call distorted value systems. And this is very important. Distorted value systems. So you'll find most of the people at your age, what they value more is money. They value money, they value good life, but they don't know how that comes. They don't want to wait and make it happen. One of the things I have realized is the secret of making money. You don't make money by looking for money. You make money by looking for solutions for people. I don't know if you understand. You make money when you look for solutions for people. Sijui kama unanisikia. Because that is very important. So ukienda kutafuta pesa ujue wewe umepotea. Ukienda ati mimi natafuta pesa, umepotea? What you need to ask yourself, what do these people need? What are they lacking? What problems are facing these people? If these problems are lacking in a good place to eat, now you have an answer of where you can get money. If these people have a problem of where they can wash their vehicles, now you have a place where you can get money. If your boss has this problem and you can solve it, that is where you get your job settled. Because you just need to go and tell your boss, you know what, I realize there's a problem in this and this company. If we do A, B, C, D, this will be the outcome. Can we do it? Then the boss realizes, hauna kichwa yako inafanya kazi. The next time, when he's looking for people he can mentor or boost, you are the first person to get that. So look for solutions for people. People are bothered. Kuna watu wako na shida mingi, wanataka solutions. Si uende ukishinda ukijiambia mtu mimi nataka kazi. Unamuuliza kazi gani? Kazi yoyote tu. So kazi yoyote unasema, what do you mean kazi yoyote? Why can't you say, I have seen there's a problem in your company. Na hii shida yako tunaitatua na namna hii. Do you know you have a job outrightly? Am I making sense? So you look for solutions for people. You don't look for jobs. You don't look for money. You don't get money. You look for solutions for people. Yeah? Then upside down priorities and emotional decisions. I have seen this a lot. You get a good opportunity, but your emotions are so fast. They make you fire a job. I have tried firing a job twice. I realized I was very not wise. Let me not call myself stupid. I was not wise because I realized I was doing it out of emotions. Yeah? In 2017, I started a company in 2017, the West Mill Concrete Company in 2017. Then, by the first 4 months, actually I started in September. By December, I had made some bit of money. Then I realized I can now quit. But it was actually out of emotions. You know, there is a time you feel now, nimekuwa oppressed sana kazini. Let me just quit. So you get out of employment, not because you have made up your mind, not because it is the wise decision to do, but because of your emotions. So you are being governed by emotions. As I finish on this, there's a friend of mine I treasure so much. He's called Engineer Maura. He has seen it all. Unajua wale watu wameona mambo mingi kwa dunia. So he sat me down and told me, Kingori, unajua wanaume wanakufanga juu ya kitu inaitwa kujikausha. Na wanaume they have a hard life because they want to prove a point. So he gave me an example. A few months ago, he went to a petrol station. You know, he's a well-off guy. And when he went to the petrol station, the attendant of the petrol station talked to him badly. Then the wife told him, "Ai baba nani bona huyo attendant amekuongelesha vibaya hivyo. Si ungeongea na manager ama muulize kwa nini ameongea na." Akakwambia, you know what he said? You know what you want me to do now? You want to test my emotions. You want me to now start reacting to a guy I should not react to. Then he went. But you know, emotions will tell you, don't do this, do this. And you do it. But the repercussions are, then there's what we call, don't go back, please. If we don't finish, we'll look for time. Go back. So there's what we call, go back, emotional intelligence. And that's a very important point in life. You see what I've written here, low EI, emotional intelligence. How do you handle your colleagues? How do you handle your staff? How do you handle the people you are around with? If you're emotionally unintelligent, you'll be reacting anyhowly. You understand? And if you react anyhowly, you don't make it. I want you to go and study about emotional intelligence. Understand how it works. And that's why you see people, there's one guy I used to love called Kofi Annan. Kofi Annan, you would not know when Kofi Annan is happy, or he's unhappy, or he's not happy with you, he doesn't react in any way. He's just sober. The reason why Sakaja today is the governor of Nairobi is because of his emotional intelligence. It is very high. You will never see him talk anyhowly. And no wonder why some people can never be governors, because they talk anyhowly, you know. They cannot be president because they talk emotional intelligence. The reason why people are not married today is because of their emotional. They talk anyhowly. The reason why you have lost so many business deals is because you go and throw them on the table. Unaenda unaambia mtu kwani ni lazima tufanye hii biashara si ikae. Then you go, then you lack money. This is a very important point. Emotional intelligence. It helps you to understand how do you handle power. Kuna watu wako na a lot of power, they are quiet. Have you seen those people? They have a lot of power, but they are quiet. They have a lot of power, but they don't show it. Yeah? So the moment you learn about emotional intelligence, the sooner you do that, the better. And you see, what happens, most of the things we do is not because you are born with them. It's the behavior you have developed. Well, we develop behavior ya kurusha mikono, ya kuongea vibaya. So it's a behavior that we can tame. We can tame that behavior. But because of your emotional intelligence, you're not able to handle that. Let's move on. How many minutes do I have? Yeah? Okay. So emotional intelligence, very important. So for you to be employable, for you to succeed in life, for you to make money, can you handle your emotions? So that when customers come, you don't brag to them. Hata si lazima, hata kuna customer mwingine alikuja jana na alikuwa analilipa hii. See, then you want to show him that you have so many customers who are willing to buy. To intimidate a customer. Then you realize nobody has bought. Yeah? Then the other thing I want us to talk about is the value system. So one of the things that affects us is what do we value? And hey, this is going far. It's getting lost. So what do you value? So if you read Romans 12 verse 1, present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God. Do not conform to the pattern of this world any longer, but be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind, so that you can be able to attest, approve the perfect will of God. So one of the things I want to tell you about value system is what controls you. What you value is what controls you. So if you value God, God will control you. If you value money, money will control you. If you value sex, sex will control you. And I think this thing I realized, even as a man, you know, women will sit there, and allow me to talk this way. Women will sit here and say, you know, all men love sex. All men are driven by, not all men are driven that way. Because there are some men who sit down and tell themselves, you know what, I don't want to be controlled by this thing. When I hit 30, there's a book I read called Think and Grow Rich by James Dobson again. And I realized there's a chapter there that talks about when men seldom succeed before 40. And I wanted to ask myself, why do men succeed less before 40? Because they use a lot of energy in what we call the physical expression of sex. They push themselves so much into sexual activities and they lose focus. Yeah? So as a man, you need to tell yourself, you know what, I cannot be controlled by this thing. As a lady, I can't be controlled by this thing. I have to focus. And allow me to tell you some of these things. Because maybe nobody will tell you. You need to learn. Control yourself. What do you value? Is it money? Again, if you are controlled by money, utawekwa na mbaba. I can tell you for a fact. Because money will drive you to whatever length. It won't matter if he is even double the age of your father. You don't care. What you care is about money. So if you are controlled by power, you will do anything to get that power. And you know what the Bible says in James 4? You never get because you don't ask. And when you ask amiss. And because you want to spend it on yourself, God will never allow you to have something for your own pleasure. So, what is your value system? What do you value? So when you get into employment, when you get into a business, what do you value? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it power? What do you value? And if you look at your values and you realize your values are not right, tame them. So I used to tell myself I have to tame my appetites. I have to tame my appetites. Because everybody has an appetite. There is something you have an appetite for. And if you don't tame your appetites, you will never succeed. Then if you look at Colossians 1:28, it talks about presenting every man perfect in Jesus Christ. So what happens when you present yourself to God? The more you push yourself to God, the more you throw yourself to God, you become transformed. And the more you get transformed, the more you achieve, the more you attain. Because you cease to live, God lives now in you. So when you go look for business, it is now God working in you, not yourself. When you go to do employment, you get favor with people, not because it is not you now, it is God now working in you. I don't know if you understand. The moment you get transformed, a power that comes from God comes into you. When it comes to you, it gives you favor. It gives you support. It helps you to achieve things you cannot achieve in a normal way. So you achieve in employment, you achieve in business, not because you are good, no, because you are transformed. And then, to this end again, also labor striving according to his works, which works in me mightily. So there are works in God that works in us mightily. There are things that God does in our lives that transforms us, that changes us to be like him. I loved your theme. I had not looked at it before I came, but I saw it saying being more like Christ. If you have not, sometimes you may be there and you have not understood what that says, and you are the one who came up with it. It means being transformed, being more like Christ, so that when people look at you, they look at you and they see Christ. Yeah? When they look at you, they see God. When they want to give a testimony, they talk about you. They say, hey, that guy, that lady has God in themselves. Then, and as I said again, the solution. The solution is actually God. And I want you to learn this and learn it well. This is the answer number one. This is the solution number one. The moment you learn about this, you will never fail. And don't be a mediocre in matters of God. I've realized something else. We take God like mchezo. As you age, you become serious. The moment you will understand what this means, you make God the key of your life, the center of your life, the hub of your life, and the heart of your life, you succeed. The moment you connect yourself with God like this, such that you don't do some things not because people see, but because you fear God. You don't value some things not because of anything, but because you value God. You succeed. If you look at John 1:1, it talks about the Word becoming the flesh. So Jesus Christ is the Word. And then if you look at 14:6, he's the way, the truth, and the life. And what I again love more, I think it's in Psalms 24. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it. So even that job you're looking for, even that desire that you have, even that money that you are looking for, it all belongs to God. So why do you need to struggle so much? And he has everything. Yeah? And then if you look at 2 Timothy 3:5, we have a form of godliness, but we deny the power thereof. You know, there's a power that transforms you, as I say. There's a power that transforms you to succeed. There's a time I stood here and I told you I was being fired, but I was given 5 days to perform. And I told my bosses, I was in Eldoret those days, give me 5 days. And I saw God's power work. Within 2-3 days, I had transformed my results, and my job was not denied. Within a month, I became a sales manager. Because God can transform you. God can transform you. He can come from a very poor family and you are transformed. I have not come to talk about bottom up. I'm talking about God. You know, God can transform you from wherever you are to another thing. Because he is able. He has what we call a transforming power, a renewing power. And one of the things I have learned is to pray. And that's what I was telling you when I started. There are people I saw praying. They would pray for an hour. They would fast for 7 days. They would fast for 40 days. Today, I look at their lives, they are so different. They are transformed. And here you are, you sleep, and you are young. 12 hours. Because I own a job. You better be using those 4 hours to pray. Because the moment you pray, you stock up for tomorrow. So even if you don't have a job, can you pray? And not praying ile ya mchezo, serious prayers. And I have seen them work. Yeah? So send all your endeavors to God for his glory and honor. Then in Colossians 3:17, whatever you do in the world, indeed, do it in the name of the Lord. This is the secret of everything. Do it in the name of the Lord. The moment you do everything in the name of the Lord, you succeed. This is also very important. I don't know if you have time for this, but I will try my best. It's called personal strategic planning. You know, any successful company in the world or in the country, they plan, and they plan well. They plan again, and plan again. But rarely do we plan ourselves in our lives. So unakaanga tu, wewe kazi yako ni kukaa tu. You are 24, you are still thinking you are young. So maisha yako itaanza ukifika 30. So unagoja 30. By the time unafika 30, you have less energy. You have lost a lot of opportunities because you never planned. So when you talk about personal strategic planning, is to ask yourself, who are you? The first thing is to ask yourself, who am I? And when you ask yourself, who am I? You ask yourself, what are my SWOTs? That's what you call the SWOT analysis. What are my strengths, my weaknesses, my strengths, my opportunities, and my threats? SWOT analysis. Then the other thing you also need to ask yourself is the character. There's a difference between character and behavior. The way you behave is not maybe your character. I don't want you to understand. And this is where now emotional intelligence comes in. What differentiates great leaders is their character and their behavior. You may be born, you see, you get your character from your father. That is what scientists will tell us. You'll get your character from your father. But when you interact with God and interact with God, that character is molded. It is transformed. It is changed. But the behavior, it is you to change your behavior. I don't know if you understand. It is you to change your behavior. Behavior is a choice. Behavior is a choice. So there are those things that will make you not succeed in life, and you have to stop them. And when you stop them, you start succeeding. But there are things you cannot change because they are character-oriented. But do you understand them? Because the first thing for you to succeed is to understand, what is my character? Am I a quiet person who is angry always, who is irritating, who is cheerful, who is whatever? You understand? You need to understand yourself. Then, what are my strengths? I'm very sharp. I am very gifted in this. I am very gifted in this. So you understand your strengths. What are your weaknesses? I cry a lot. Hata nikipewa assignment nalia. Hata nikiambiwa kitu nalia. You know, there are people who are like that. They cry and cry. There are other people who say their weakness is that, what do you call them? They overdo things, or they are perfectionists because you want to look good. At my weakness I'm a perfectionist. That is the weakness that now you say. But you have even worse weaknesses that you don't want to say that you have, or you don't want to tell yourself you have. So you need to look at yourself and ask yourself, what are my weaknesses? Then, where are you? Where are you means, where are you economically? Maybe tumekaa hapa na kuna mtu hana hata shilingi 100 ya kukula jioni. Which is okay. It happens. I have been there. But that does not mean that you can never get out of there. Then, where are you in terms of social status and networks? Social status, where are you? Maybe you are 30-something, not married. You are 25, not married. Maybe you are 20, and this, your social status, you have no connections. You don't care about people. Unasemanga utakangi maneno ya watu. So you don't have any network. You know no one, and you don't mind. Then, your educational level. Ulifika form 4, ukapata chance ya kusoma, ukakataa. Ukafika campus, ukaanza kuzurura haukusoma. Then ukasoma sana. Then any job you get that is not matching you, whatever you ulisoma, you think it is too low for you. So those are the challenges that will affect you. Then never underestimate the background. Never underestimate the background. I have studied this thing. If your great-grandfather was a preacher, like a bishop those days, then the father of your great-father, your great-grandfather was also a preacher. Then your father is a preacher. The battles you'll fight in life are not like the battle for someone who the father was a witch, and the grandfather was a witch, and the great-grandfather was a greater witch. You understand? The battles you'll fight in life are different. If your father was Kenyatta, Jomo Kenyatta himself, and then your father now is Uhuru, and you are now the son of Uhuru, and you have bought another girl called Gina, the chances are that there are things you will inherit easily without struggling. So never underestimate what? Connections or background, where people come from. But I want to put a disclaimer there. Your background does not determine how far you can go. What determines how far you can go is yourself. So your beginning does not matter. But you have to start anyway. You understand? You have to start. Then, what do you want to achieve? This is where now we love it, because we love dreaming. And I keep telling people dreaming is free. And I have said that many times again, I love dreaming. Dreaming is free. You can dream as many times as you want. You can have good visions. It's good. You can actually have aspirations, which is okay and a good thing. Then how do you get there? How have a plan? Now this is where you sit down and yourself and tell yourself, what plan do I have? For me to achieve, to be a successful businessman in this town, what plan do I have? For me to be a good educational leader, or to me to be a good leader in this country, what plan do I have? For me to be a good CEO, what plan do I have? So you start connecting with yourself, you start planning. Then, this is where wisdom again comes in. Lakini the moment you indulge yourself with so many things, you lose out everything. Because wisdom does not stay where there are a lot of confusions. You have to be very clear. You have to know God. You have to love God for wisdom to settle in. And when it settles in, the decisions you'll make are not like the decisions that a person who doesn't know God will make. Yeah? And then, this is another thing that I want to tell you about prayer and giving. This is one thing that I've learned that is life-changing. How is your prayer life? And how is your giving life? And your prayer life doesn't have to be public. You don't have to be showing people, mimi naobanga siku 40. Yeah? Nikianza kuomba, kuja nikuombe. It's a good thing to do that. I have no problem. But ensure that you have what you call a prayer life. That is a pattern in your life that will never change. The victories you'll get through prayer. Because I was actually asking myself, why does God allow us to be limited? Because He wants us to pray. He wants us to keep praying to Him. He wants us to keep trusting to Him. He wants us to keep going to Him to seek answers. Because He's God. He was not born like us. He's not limited like us. And then the other thing we don't do is don't give. And you need to learn about giving when you're still young. Because there are so many doors which you will never open without giving. The moment you don't learn to give, you never go far. You will struggle for the rest of your life. Unajipata, you have kids, you're not making any progress because you never give. You need to start. Even if you give 10 bob, give 10 bob. Then you tell yourself, next month I will trust God, I will give even 20. The next month I will give, or next year I will be giving 100. The next year I will be giving 1,000. The next year you'll be giving what? Make it a progression thing. Then in terms of prayer, don't pray for 5 minutes. Tell yourself, I'll pray for 5 minutes, yes. Tomorrow I'll pray for 30. The other time I'll pray for 1 hour. The other time I'll pray for a whole. Again, do not overdo these things again, forgetting to do the main things. You cannot pray the whole day, the whole year. You can't do that. You need to be wise. But prayer is key. I will tell you for free. Prayer is so key. Because most of the answers you need in life are answered there. Yeah? Then the other thing you need to ask yourself is about the SMART goals. So as you set the goals, they must be smart. By smart, I mean, they have to be specific. So usikuwe na goals zingine zinakaa funny, that you want to be the biggest distributor of liquid gas ya kuuza dege. Na ingine ya kuuza, but you don't even know where you'll get that gas from. You have not sat down and asked yourself where you are starting. So the goals you have are not specific. Yeah? So when you sit with people, you have so many goals, yeah, but they are not specific. Then they are measurable. Whatever cannot be measured cannot be achieved. If you cannot measure something, it cannot be achieved. So you need to tell yourself, this year I want to develop 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 1, 2 to achieve it. I need to buy a laptop. My sister, you may be there. I want to buy a laptop in mwezi. So how much is a laptop, number one? A laptop is it 60K or whatever? I don't know how much, or 30K. If it is 30K or 40K, how do I achieve this 40K? So you know what you want, that is specific, which is a laptop. You know how much a laptop costs, and you know where you'll get there. And then attainable. It has to be attainable. Si utuambie sahi unataka kununua ndege. Na utaki mtu akuambia huwezi nunua. It has to be attainable. And then it has to be relevant. Sahi, you are a student. Yeah? You are a student today. And you're telling us you want to be the president of Kenya. Na hujafika hata 35. So haujielewi? Yeah? Because you need to understand that for you to be a president, you need to be 35 and above. Yeah? So you don't go wasting people's time that you want to be a president. So when you go to Kualaini wakati when they are selecting people, they tell you, but you don't even have the age limit. So because you are doing something that is not relevant, you need to ask, is it relevant? If I'm a farmer, why do I buy a plane? Mbona ununue ndege na you are a farmer? Unless you want to change what you do. It has to be relevant. The other thing is that it has to be time-bound. Hawezi sema ati I'll buy a laptop hata kama ni 2040. So when you buy a laptop at 2040, you're happy? No. It has to be time-bound. Yeah? It has to be time-bound. Then there's one of the book or the people I love called the Sons of Issachar. And this is very important. Should I add now here? So this is very important. The Sons of Issachar. If you read 1 Chronicles 12:32, the sons of Issachar, the Bible says that they were wise. They understood the times. They understood the times. What does this mean? Currently, we need to understand where are we as a nation. And I like being very real. For you to succeed, you need to understand the environment you're operating in. There's what we call geopolitical environment in business. You need to understand the geopolitical environment or geo-economic environment. You understand the socio-economic environment that you are operating in. You need to understand where is Kenya today. So Kenya today has just come out of what we call post-COVID. So there are so many things that were oppressed by COVID. That is a reality. So you need to understand that, have that understanding. Number two, we have just come from an election period. That is another thing you need to have back in your mind, an understanding. Then the other thing you need to understand, there's a global recession. The global economy is not doing well. So you need to have that understanding in mind. Then you also need to understand we are also in the middle of the Russian-Ukraine war. So when you sit down and understand those things, then you ask yourself, where are the opportunities? But you cannot just say that you want to do, sahi tumefanya post-elections. Tumefanya elections. The printing business was doing well during elections. But you want to do it now. Ati uliona watu walitengeneza pesa na campaigns. You want to do printing. Then you start telling people, I want to print for you t-shirts. How many t-shirts will you sell? Then you don't understand, you also need to understand Africa. And I want to encourage you, if there are any continent in the world that has opportunities, it's Africa. In fact, instead of going to look for job opportunities in UK and US, you better go to Congo, or you go to Tanzania, or you go to whatever, Burundi. You'll get many opportunities there that are not in the outer countries. So what is happening, for the last 10 years, the number of millionaires that have become millionaires in Africa is more than the number of millionaires that have become millionaires in the outer world, Europe and other countries. Because there they have achieved so much. Their markets are saturated. They have so many goods that they don't know where to sell. And that's why China will always come and sell their goods where? Why? Because there are opportunities in Africa. There are opportunities in Kenya. So you need to set yourself for success, because the next big thing is that Africa is going to be a very big continent in terms of market. We have 1.2 billion people in Africa. So the market is so big in Africa. But here you are thinking of US and UK. You'll make more money in Africa than any other place. The opportunities are more here than any other place. Yeah? Again, understanding. These guys understood the times. So you need to sit down and understand the times. And let me tell you something. When I was, I think 2014, when Uhuru became the president, 2014, 2015, I was in charge of SME and corporate in Credit Bank. And we sat down and asked ourselves, our bank is very small, but we have to succeed. How do we succeed? And we realized the big banks had money. We didn't have the money. They had branches. We didn't have the branches. So when we sat with our team, we realized, what can we do differently? So the first thing we did is we looked at what we call the Vision 2030. By then, I thought Vision 2030 was just something in the air, not existing. So we started understanding what is Vision 2030, what does it entail, who drives it, where are the money. So we started following the money. And the reason why I'm telling you this is for you to learn. So we started asking ourselves, where is the government pulling money? Where is the government spending? The government by then was spending in energy, it was spending in roads, it was what we call infrastructure, it was also spending on water a lot and health. So we started now following projects to finance. So anyone in energy, we finance. Anyone in roads, we finance. So we build that. Then we started doing what we call trade finance. So we moved from what we call conventional banking. So what I'm telling you in short, you have to sit down and ask yourself, things are tough. Things are not easy. But what can I do? Today, there are so many people with no jobs. But you have to sit down and ask yourself, what can I do to get something to live on? You can only do that by understanding the times. Yeah, I'm finishing, thank God. I was so worried. Challenges in this pursuit. So, what are the challenges that you'll encounter that will make you feel, I don't want this anymore? Yeah? As I told you earlier, there's what you call the lack of fellowship with Christ. As I grow older, I came to understand this thing is personal. It's not about the church I go to. It's not about my bishop or anybody. It is personal. Your fellowship with God is personal. How you take God and where the center of God in your life is personal. It's not about your neighbor. It's about you. It's not about even your spouse. It's about you. So when you wake up to pray, Jerry, because I know you are getting married soon, when you wake up to pray as a wife, don't say that hata mume wangu haobangi, like now my sister Jerry there. You are saying that hata nani haobangi. Sasa mimi naobanga. You are like the one carrying the weight for the entire family with prayers. You know, women feel that way. Mimi nimeshikilia hii nyumba. Yeah, which is not right. You need to tell yourself, this is personal. This is about you and God. So when you have a prayerless life, and you'll also lack tithing and giving, you will never succeed. Go and read John 15:5. If you abide in me, and I abide in you, you will bear much fruit. Without me, you can do nothing. That is Jesus saying. Without me, you can do nothing. So when you have no fellowship with God, you cannot achieve in any way. Then Malachi 3:8, you are cursed with a curse. So if you don't give, you are cursed with a. So how do you get a cursed person with a curse? Seated here, understanding how he'll make money, and he's not doing what the Bible says. Yeah? So you need to understand, how do you start giving now? Not tomorrow, now. So hiyo pocket money unapewa kidogo, give. Learn to give as early as now. Then you have what you call the confidence in the flesh. And I've seen this bring us, most of us, down. You are there seated and say, me, I got an A. I'm an A student. Yeah? In fact, wale watu wanananga shule, hizi shule kubwa wanga wanatuweka chini sana. You know, me, I'm an A student. So because you are an A student, you think you'll achieve in life with an A. Little do you know that that is just confidence of the flesh. Yeah? Me, I'm so beautiful. There is no man who cannot marry me. Then you realize you have hit 40 and you have not gotten married. Confidence in the flesh. Then there's what we call the sense of entitlement. So when you're offered opportunities, you think they are so low. Somebody comes and tells you, hauna kazi ya kufanya, so you come and work for us as a waiter. Then you're like, me waiting, serving people, with all the education I have? How much are you paying? Because you are self-entitled. Then you are told, come and pay us a visit. You want to be on the high table. You want to be seen. You're the one who wants to be seen in everything. You have a very high sense of entitlement. Yeah? Instead of being humble. And I looked at this thing. If you look at Proverbs 3:7, do not overvalue yourself. Do not think of yourself more highly than you ought to. You should not think of yourself more highly than you. Thinking that you should be paid and have 1,000,000 shillings. But ile kazi unaweza fanya ni ya mtu ana 20K. Yeah? Because your value is so high in your mind. Yeah? And because your value is so high in your mind, you never settle for less. Yeah? So if you read Romans 12 verse 3 again, the same thing. Galatians 6:3, Romans 12:16. All these books, you read the Bible verses, they all talk about thinking of yourself so highly. And the reason why most of us do not succeed, we think of ourselves so highly. Yeah? And because we think of ourselves so highly, when we cannot calm down, then you have confidence or trust in men. That Psalms 18, I think we need to, I didn't finish. I was looking for it. Do not have trust in men. And this is where we mess up, my brothers and sisters. I have gotten, so when I was employed, I used to get CVs daily. Kingori nisaidie, kuna hii kazi nataka, kuna hii, which is okay. And one of the things I noted is that there are people who put their trust wholly on you. Then I wonder now, if you put your trust on a mere man like me, a limited guy like me, that maisha yako imeshikilia hapo. You can imagine how desperate you are. When God is in heaven, he looks at you, he wonders, this guy is the one you are trusting in. How sad. Because the Bible is very clear. Cursed is the man who put their trust in a man. You'll be like a desolate land. You'll be like a barren land. Then I think there's in the book of Psalms. It's better to trust in the Lord than to put your trust in a princess. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put your trust in kings. You cannot trust kings and think that it will be well with you. The moment you give God your all, you succeed. In fact, the people who get money or the people who succeed in life are the people who have no people to call to. Akipata shida, anaenda kwa maombi. Juu hakuna mtu anaweza pigia simu. Sijui kama umeshaifika hiyo level, whereby you have no one to call. Just know that you are a candidate of success. Ukiona saa hii bado uko na watu unaweza pigia simu. Nimesota, I need 10K. Na unapata hapo hapo. Nimesota, I need 100K. Na unapata hapo hapo. Be very careful. Because the time will come when you will not actually thrive. Because your trust moved from now God to people. And I have learned this time, especially this time, where politicians are coming in, people you know. So you have a governor you know, you have a deputy governor you know, you have an MP you know, you have an MCA you know. So wewe unakosa kuomba. Sasa maisha yako unaachilia sasa wale wako kwa MCA na MP na si mnajuana na yeye. So for 2 years utashinda hapo ukitafuta governor, because the governor is a friend of your father. Na mzee akakwambia atakupeleka kwa governor. So hakuna kitu unafanyanga, umekaa tu, you just wait for that appointment. When the governor, you go to see the governor, hapatikani hiyo siku. Anaandikia mzee text anamwambia pole sana, I can't see you today. Try next month. Anakupea date ya next month. Miaka inaenda, siku zinaenda, as you wait. Then you start calling men liars. And men are not liars. They are just limited. Jerry, are you heartbroken? Men are not liars. They are just limited. You know, you may be calling people liars. These guys are not good. They promised me this. They promised me this. But not that they are liars. They are limited. And you know, the Bible is very clear. God is not a man. He doesn't lie. When he promises you, he will do it. Yeah? Then, there is also what you call the laxity of mediocrity. And this is key. The Bible says, whatever you do, do it well. As if you are doing it for the Lord, not for man to see. as if you're doing it for the Lord. If there's anything I've seen we have a problem with is what we call mediocrity. You are employed today as a waiter. I used to be a waiter, so don't ask me why I'm going on the waiting side. So you are a waiter, you are serving guys food. Wewe kazi yako ni kupeleka chai imejaa, unaenda ukitingiza nini? Hii tray, jani unaelewa? Unaenda ukitingiza tray. By the time chai inafikia kwa mwenyewe, imejaa kwa tray. Na ni nusu. And you want that guy to take that tea. When you take it back to the guy who was giving you the tea, anakuuliza chai imeenda wapi? Na zilikuwa nimejaza. Because you don't have what you call, you don't have, what do you call it? You are mediocre. You walk anyhowly, you do anyhowly. Then you are given a task. I want you to provide for me A, B, C, D by evening. By evening, you have not done anything. And then you are calling that boss a hard boss, a harsh guy. He doesn't know God. Now, what he asked for was only a simple task. A task. Can you provide for me with A, B, C, D? But because your brain does not want to work, because you are lazy, you don't want to work, you let things run on their own. So you realize you have results. Any diligent man will always get some people to support him or her. When you are diligent, you get support. When you're not diligent, you don't get support. Then there's what you call the discipline and consistency. And this is very critical also. Learn to talk the truth from the word go. Learn to be disciplined. Being disciplined is not a weakness. There is no successful man who is not disciplined. These rich men you see, they are very disciplined. The people who are not disciplined are the poor people, sorry to say. The people who are going nowhere are the ones who are not disciplined. The inconsistent people are not successful. The successful people you see, they are very consistent. They will tell you, I have a meeting with you at 7. By 7:50, by 6:50 anakwambia, I'm on my way coming. But this other mediocre guy, he will come at your place at 9. Then he will tell you, sijui kulikuwa na traffic, sijui kuna jam, sijui nilisahau. Mediocrity. But the successful guys are very to the point. They know, I'm supposed to be in this meeting by 8. And when I meet this guy at 8, I have another meeting at 9. Then they also know, I committed to this company, this. I have to deliver. I committed to my friend, I will do this. I have to deliver. I committed to so and so this. I have to deliver. And don't just look at the people under you. Look at also people who are even below you and commit to them. I will tell you this. Today I was meeting the group CEO of HF. He was coming, he's my friend. He was coming to see me at my place of work. We agreed with him he is coming at 7:30. By 7:30, he had already written me a message. I'm at Roilo, I'm running late. He is so far from me. But he is humble enough to come down and tell me, I'm sorry, I'm running. If it was some of us with a lot of power, we don't even care to say sorry. We would come at whatever time we want. Watu wamgoje hapo. You are the one in power. But if you are consistent, if you are persistent, if you are also disciplined, you'll keep your word, you'll come at the right time, and you'll make it happen. So that people can say, so-and-so, when so-and-so tells us this, he does it. When so-and-so says this, he does it. Then there's what we call the harmful, meaningful, unmeaningful, not meaningful relationships. The people you interact with, they become like you or you become like them. So if you have an interaction of mediocres, you become a mediocre without knowing. If you have a company of thieves, somehow you'll also be a thief somehow. Yeah? If you become a friend to so many people who are not good or not godly and all that, you also go that route. So the reasons why, again, you will not succeed is because of the people you keep around you. People you keep around you. Yeah? And I've noted this in life. When I was starting, there are people we started with at the same level. At 24, you have so many friends, same level. As 26, they keep reducing in numbers. As 30, they keep reducing even further. It will get a point, if you are succeeding, you'll have very few friends. Because wale wengi walipotea. Ana huyu akona maringo, mara huyu akona nini. Why? Because they realize they cannot catch up with you. And because they choose to be a mediocres, they will not be comfortable with you. Then what happens when you have no friends? You have to look for other people now who you can relate with now at that level. So as your mind is renewed, as you get transformed, you also have to get other people who are more transformed than you, and you become friends with them. As you go up financially, you have to look for more people who are more financially able than you, so that you can become your friends. If you become more spiritual, look for more people who are even more spiritual than you, so that they can become your friends. So you always tap from the people above you. But you see, when you are a kingpin, you are the kingpin. You are the one with the most money. You are the most intelligent. You are the most learned. So kila mtu anakuwa do. Yeah? Because you are the kingpin of, it doesn't work. You need to be getting people who can mentor you. Yeah? I thank God for the session that we have had together. And given a chance, I would want to be transformed again and again. So the same case should apply to you. Tell God to transform you on each and every moment. Because the moment you get transformed, in matters spiritual, physical happens immediately. In matters prayer, physical happens immediately. You will see changes immediately. And then make your relationship with God personal. It is not about people. It is about you. Kitambo, when I got married, I used to tell my wife, twende tukaombe. I have realized last year and this year, that was a big mistake. It is a good thing to call her and we go and pray together. But it has come to a point where now I tell myself, it's me and God now first. Can I go and pray? Then because I'm the man in the house, I have to take the cover now against anything for every other person. So you become the leader of that home. But the moment you have to pray because we are both of, watu wakiona wanapendananga sana. Twende tuombe 2 hours. Mnakaa chini mnaomba, then mnamaliza, mnaenda nyinyi wote. So there is no one who goes an extra mile. I don't know if you understand. Everything you do it at par. Then you have friends as a young person. Mukisema ni kuomba, fellowship, mnaendanga pamoja. You never have any personal relationship with God. And no wonder why I have looked at so many people in this church. They will come to church very early in the morning. Na unawapata nje huko wakizurura. I don't know, I'm the one, I'm not mentioning names, but I've seen people. Mtu amekuja asubuhi mapema, kazi yake ni haingiangi kwa church. So their relationship with God is about people. It's about the organization. It's about the institution. So bora ako huku, the moment, bora ako kwa kanisa, yeye ni mzuri. Na ataanza kuongea, unajua hata yule elder simuonage kanisa. Anakujaga once na anaenda. Anakuja kwa watu kama hawa anaishingi namna gani. But you don't understand the other bit. That is, you are not seeing. I don't know if you understand. If you want to know, look at the fruits. Kila muti inajulikananga na matunda ya. That is in the Bible. You will know a fruit by a tree by its fruits. So do not sit there and start criticizing people. This one does not pray. This one doesn't do. But you are the one not doing it. This one does not give. This one is the mediocre. Can you start becoming a serious person? And God is going to bless you. Let us pray. Almighty and everlasting Father, we thank you for the wonderful time that you've given unto us. We humble before you to thank you, to bless you, and to exalt your holy name. Thank you for the word that you have spoken to us. Thank you for the words that you have given unto us, oh God. My prayer is that you will transform us again and again, my Lord and my Redeemer. My prayer, Lord, is that we may know you more and more. And Father, Lord, the things that we need, oh Father, even according to Matthew 6:33, oh Lord, as we pursue you, oh God, you will give us even more that we even need, oh Father. All the other things will follow us, my Redeemer. Father, Lord, may you give us that wisdom to understand that whatever we pursue, we just need to understand you, we just need to follow you, oh God. Receive all the praise, receive all the glory, receive all the honor. Thank you for my brothers and sisters who are here. We commit their souls to you, we commit their lives to you. May you be worshipped, may you be magnified. We pray this believing and trusting in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. I know you're wondering how I came down. I came down from up. So God bless you. Amen.